Okay, we will start now. My name is Vicente Lorca, and I am with Camilo Rodriguez. Both we work in Universidad del Desarrollo in Santiago, Chile, and we will talk about our program or our academy that's called Maker Campus, and our experience with education and technology, and how we adaptate our methodology to the present time and to the pandemic and times. And in the first part, we will do a presentation of our work, and after that we open the conversation to question that every question that you want. Well, first of all, we want to make context about Maker Campus and context in Chile. I want to start this presentation giving thanks to all the team behind Maker Campus and who make it possible, and Maker Faire team from the invitation and the organization of this type of event. Well, first of all, in Chile, we saw the great opportunity for growth in STEAM area, because Chile is one of the lowest university graduation in this kind of things in engineers and other STEAM area. And we believe that we can change reality if we deliver tools to development in kids different type of thinking. And another data that we saw is that one out of 5 engineers degree are to women, but in the highest education, the motivation is similar in women and boys. And we decide to empower this in this area in high school, and focus in women to make more familiarity and empower this in women. And another, this is one fear of our local academy. And another data that we see is that the 16% of children that who enter school in 2016 will be jobs in jobs that doesn't exist, or problem that doesn't exist. This doesn't mean that technology is the only solution, but it's one of way to give tools to the futures and to change realities of our children. And when we start talking about that, a lot of people said to us that why do you want to do this? Because the young people are good in technology and they don't need this. But for us, they are a good consumer or good user of technology, understand the UX maybe, but they don't understand what's going behind the technology, what is the phenomenon of technology. And with a simple question that we do a lot, how many sensors have a cell phone? A lot of they don't know about that. And we focus in have to take care to educating creators and no consumer, and that's what is the reason to make an academy of makers. And we saw the opportunity to change reality of different type of children, and we definitely believe that we can change reality through the education and to potential our type of country in the region and in global to become a global player in the future. That is another photo of our works. And what is Maker Campus? Maker Campus is the talent development program of engineers and design of our university. And this program based in different instances to get or to through education, like workshop, course, do it yourself, and many. And we want to break in the establishment technology gaps that we have in different generation, in different social situation, and we want to standardize the knowledge. And what we do different? We separate the different type of thinking, like computational thinking, like creative thinking, analytical thinking, and different kinds of thinking with the technological knowledge. What that doesn't mean that we have in a same class, we want to develop this type of thinking in the equality for all, but in different depthly of technological knowledge. And that create learn to learn, that creates autonomy, that the kids can go or in their own speed, and we can personalize the learning, and that's that we want in this academy. What is our goals? Is development scientific vocation, encourage and development creativity of the student in technology and design, and attract more women in the world of STEAM education. And how we do that? We have three focus. One is create learning cycle based on experience in different depths and in different topics.
Hi, my name is Camilo Rodriguez, and I'm gonna be explaining the rest of the presentation. So just as Vicente explained, all of our interests was to develop a new way of achieving the goals of this different type of education around technology based on different format with different cycles of education, different depths, and different topics. So the four topics that we choose to start with are digital fabrication, electronics, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence. And the way we decided to make this is by dividing each of these four main topics into different smaller modules. Um, so as an example, we think that if you take the large picture of digital fabrication, you can choose smaller units of content that are these basically modules that could be independent and flexible, and basically you can build up your own expertise if you want to focus on understanding more in depth of one specific technology, or you want to start mixing up different types of skills, and basically to have this possibility that you can build up your own road. It's what we were thinking on making this academy. Traditional activities around technology, as we were doing prior to Maker Campus, were more about experiencing very superficially some of these technologies. So we noticed that some of the students and kids and youngsters wanted to know more about one than maybe more than the other, or maybe they will discover one and want to go in depth. So that's why we were thinking that we should make something that is actually flexible, but that has very specific and noticeable learning steps. So basically this idea of changing from one way to see things to different modules, it's what was this modular methodology.
And in complement with that, I want to say that that is the part of technical knowledge, but is with motivation too, because I want to to tell about two or three quickly story about our student that they two of them they don't go to the travel of the course of the final part of the high school because they want to go to the academy. because it's a personality learning, and and another two student with this motivation in the life, and they want to suicide. They find the motivation in the academy, and to because they feel understand, and they feel that they can draw the process of their knowledge, and that is the flexibility that we want to talk about.
So just as an scheme on how this looks like, it's like if you take a current course or a current class and you divide it into units and those units into modules. So this, in theory, is what we always do, us as lecturers at the university, also at school. But the most important thing for us is that every module that is described here, it's a rather technical, goal-oriented module. So, for example, let's take the example of Arduino. We can divide modules by learning how to, for example, blink lights, or understanding analog signals, and that those will be like separated modules, and a set of modules by themselves will be recognized as a unit of knowledge. Those units of knowledge, when you put them all together. So the modular methodology, as you can see now in these new schemes, allows you to navigate all the different courses, and that you can create your own curricula. And as Vicente was explaining, this is not just about gathering technical knowledge. Maker Campus focus was also on gathering other types of abilities and that's why it was a project-oriented, or it is a project-oriented academy. But the way we solve the problem of having kids that were maybe more interested in, or could learn faster, and others that will take maybe more time or wanted to explore other technologies, is by modularizing this methodology. So we don't have just one level for everyone, but we can actually provide them with alternatives for their own learning. So the way we set up this is that we created classes of around 35 students with 3 facilitators. Basically, we have 2 teachers and an assistant. The image you have in the presentation is the way this was set up. So basically, it's a rather project-based setup with all the materials. So the classroom itself, it becomes a lab, it becomes a workshop, and everything that they will need is created in there. So we also wanted to show that it is possible to change the view of around maker spaces, and basically that we can transform any space into a maker space. That was also one of the learnings about this, about the space that we should have, and that there you have like a view on one specific activity with these students. And as you can see, these students in particular were around 15 to 17-year-old students. The way we started to see this is that our traditional course, we needed also to update it, and this was an idea that we had over the last year. And I think over this pandemic and the situation we are having, it's just like making it increase, is that we can also have a blended or more a digitalized structure, where we can have groups of 5 students that are coordinated by tutors. So this is something that we have also tried out at the university level. We are bringing it to Maker Campus, where we continue with the module-based learning, with a constructivist learning way to see things, but we are trying to work more into peer-to-peer learnings and materials available in the house. That's the new way that we are seeing for this online methodology. The main difference with the traditional way we were doing Maker Campus is that basically these tutors will only have like a set of students that they will know very much, and they will guide them through the different content that they can find it also online, but they have a tutor that will basically guide them through the development of projects where they will be learning the other skills. So basically right now, Maker Campus has made, it's been already 3 years since we started this. Traditional Maker Campus Academy, each cycle lasts for around 4 to 5 months. So for the moment, the main numbers that we have is that we have had around 400 students, 100 teachers, and 5 different programs that are currently being done and designed. So here, as you can see, we have different versions of Maker Campus. What I have explained so far, it's the Maker Campus itself. So this idea that during around 16 weeks, students will go into modules they're learning about the 4 different themes. This was a package for 16 weeks. But we also have Maker Campus Lite, which is more of a learning experience, short learning experience. It's like a short version of Maker Campus, but it's something that we have seen that in some schools they were in need. Maker Campus Duo is basically a way for us to offer content for teachers to learn about what technologies are available and what students could do, but the capacity about the use of technology, it's only going to students. And this is interesting because the traditional way of seeing capacity building for teachers, it's currently adding up more hours to teachers on learning new stuff. And we know already that teachers around the world are collapsed. This is happening in Chile as well. So instead of having them more content, more burden on them, we say, look, it's important for you to understand that these technologies are available and that students, when they learn about them, they can do all these things, but you don't have to take care about them learning this. You have to know that this exists. And on the other hand, students can actually go and use a rather more traditional Maker Campus activity where they actually learn about these technologies. So it's a way for us to accompany teachers and at the same time providing with tools to students without giving more burden to teachers. And at the same time, we have a Maker Campus Profesores, which is basically the Maker Campus for teachers themselves. So this is, of course, a lot more in-depth around the ways we can use these to project-based learning, how technology can complement or adapt things related to areas that maybe doesn't have relationship, like history and arts, and basically providing this idea as well. And what we have seen is that at the beginning, everyone was thinking this as an extracurricular activities, like most of the other activities we see in schools. But the most important is that we have seen also a change in some of the groups that we have gathered here, where they actually considering part of the curriculum. We have the experience of one specific school that completely exchanged its hours, traditional hours of the technology course in their curriculum. And instead of that, they say, well, if you go to Maker Campus, it will just be considered as equal. And for us, that was a big change, because we didn't force that. It came from the schools themselves. And that means that basically what Maker Campus was providing is something that was needed, and that was needed so much that it was able also to change the way traditional curriculum is being offered. So for us, that's also the main motivation for Maker Campus. How can we make also important changes? Here we have just one testimony of one of the professors. It is in Spanish, but it will just explain a bit what was the impact for her. Oh, maybe we can, Vicente, we can share this presentation so people can hear it. But the most important is that we had professors that were were really interested on this, that they see a change in the students. Also to consider that most of the courses were performed on Saturdays, so students were coming to a university on Saturdays, and that was a main change. The way we were doing this is through the basically cooperation and relationship with 3 different communities in Santiago, Chile. These basically, each of them, which is Vitacura, Las Condes, and Lo Barnechea as well, they chose a group of students that they decided that they will be like the students that will take this Maker Campus program, and basically they will be choosing those who were like more motivated, and they will be following a guidance to see if they were part of this. They were never obliged. These were kids that wanted to be there. And the most interesting thing is that these municipalities chose a group of students from public schools. So also that was very important, because maybe by their own means it was impossible to be part of a project like that. But the fact that the educational corporations from these municipalities were able to cover the cost of transportation of materials for these students to be part of this allows us to cover a group of students that was very, very hard for them to receive this type of education. These were 5 schools, 400 students total, as I explained before. And the interesting thing is that we were able to try out also this level 1 plus level 2 of knowledge in some of these technologies. So students that passed through a first round of Maker Campus, they were able to go into a second round. What's interesting, what is happening with Maker Campus is that we have focused for now on students between the age of 14 to 17, so prior to go to the university. And we basically designed this idea of an academy with different types of levels and flexible modules, as we have explained before. But what's interesting is that this concept, and for us it was also quite strange, was quite new when we start to discuss with other people, and basically not just at the educational level of these kids, but also at the university level, and also at the startup, or also at the entrepreneurial level. So basically what we started to set up is that we did some transformation of these programs to fit other types of public or other types of content. In New York City, we are discussing with different organizations about the possibility to do an adaptation of Maker Campus into their own context. At the university level, we are changing the way we are self-organizing the content of mathematics, basic science, and also technology to actually couple it with Maker Campus. And at the startup level, we are also thinking about proposing different ways to modularize content. So basically startups or small companies or very can actually go in depth about learning more about technology using this tree-based structure of learning. I don't know, Vicente, if you want to add something here.
Yeah, yes, I want to add that what is the difference with a traditional academy? We think that all the reality of the school is different. We can get a program to all the school at the same time, or the same program to the all school, because all the school have different type of reality, like different resource, different professor, or different infrastructure. And that is our point, that we can create different type of models and create like a universe of models, that we can create a different type of program in different realities. And that is the reason that we can expand to different type of market, like startup, university, and in international venture. But the point is, here you can do the complete way in the learning, because you can start in the school, and then after you continue in the university, that university can accreditate that knowledge, and you can do your career more in less time. And after that, you can continue with development capacity with that type of academy. You have like a continual process, and that is our purpose and our different with a traditional academy. And in that side, here we have like an example that with different tools from a startup or for that is we use the technology, but in a different way that create digital presence, uh, uh, digital tools to create startups or to have a digital present in the web, or with different abilities with teach different tools. And that is our purpose, to make like a big universe of different modules, and and separate the knowledge that you can give in a conductivist learning and in a constructivist learning, and focus in constructivist, and in the conduct, conductivist you can teach in a academy, in a constant academy, and you can go to the academy and have 2 or 3 modules, focus in the process of the project that you are doing in, through your education or through your learning. And that is why we believe that Maker Campus is a good tools to make different way to or a different view of education with technology. Well, if you have any question, you can write in the chat of YouTube, and we are now we are answered that type of question. One Camilo is, if uh, do you do, do you have a plan to make this global uh, academy?
Yep. Yeah, I'm also reading them, so it's good. Thank you for your questions. Well, what does it really mean to make it global, right? I think even to make it local based, but with the possibility to escalate, that's one of the things we are really thinking, and that this will actually help. So the fact that we are thinking on these blended technology, blended strategies, where we can have very like very condensed and very like modules, very short, that could be set up online, that we can have like a continuous line of small videos, but that will be like support for tutors. So I think this idea of a tutor that can have 5 students will actually work very well. And the fact that we are right now living, it could be actually be global, because you don't even have to be in the same place. But for us, it's very important not to lose this idea of working groups. I think that most of the things that we have seen around Maker Campus is the ability to create communities and to create groups and to learn about working in groups. As I explained before, we started this program not just to say we want to have people that are very good at programming or that are very good at designing 3D stuff or making virtual reality scenarios. We want to create the technological talents that will actually face the challenges that we have in our society. And our diagnostic at the beginning was that technology can be a solution, but right now there was no way to create technological um, learnings, and that's why we wanted to focus on that. But we don't forget the main idea for us is that we want to create better generations of people that can actually solve our challenges. This is the most needed, and at the same time they will solve it, and at the same time they will have a reason to get into this type of science and engineering, and that they can actually go and try to to be depth, to have a depth on that. So for us, the idea to go global is there. I think we don't forget that we should start local. And yeah, so some of the questions say that if they will be guided by normal secondary professors, actually not. Some of them are university professors. Some are not like professors. They will be just like good facilitators around technology. This is also changing a bit the scheme. We have even previous students of Maker Campus that are also being part of teaching other generations. So it's also about providing this idea that we can teach how to, so learning by learning, and that doesn't need to have like a specific diploma or anything like that. So that's also been a very interesting challenge, but at the same time having on the side a robust way to evaluate either content that they will learn or abilities that or skills that will be learning as well. So the children doesn't need to be interested. So far we have worked with the municipalities. So these municipalities, they have an educational corporation that have the management of different public schools, and right now they are doing the choosing of the students. They choose the students, and I suppose they choose it based on their interest of being part of this. And basically, when you have a kid that prefers to spend his Saturday learning about these things instead of, I don't know, playing in the playground, it means that the student is really interested, is very motivated, and that's recognized by everyone. I think that's how it's been done so far. So of course we don't want this to be forced, but I think these are skills that are doing a good complement to what school actually needs right now, at least at the public sector here in Chile. But I think this is quite global.
We have another question. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between this methodology and the actual system of education? Well, I can get this one, but one of the different that what believe that a lot of schools in technology only are teaching to use the different tools, and we don't believe that because the technology changed a lot in a short period. The technology that we are using now maybe tomorrow is obsolete, but and how we focus, our focus is to development different type of thinking, and if you understand what happened behind the technology, you can use all different type of technology, and that is our focus to create or to development thinking art and to create a different attitude to in front the technology, not only like a user, not only like a common user, more like a creator with technology and how the technology work, and that is the focus to development think different type of thinking. Camilo, if you want to comment.
I think also one of the main changes is that we think that the current traditional systems impose a way to do things, right? So you go into your class for a year, and everyone has to follow the same content and the same rhythm. And basically, if you are good at it, then you will follow without a problem. If it's not easy for you because of different things, you will be like kept behind, and then you will have like this rush on trying to go with the main group. And maybe some that will be in advance will get bored also in school. So basically what we were proposing by the flexibility of the modules is that basically you can learn at the rhythm as well, that it's natural for you. And actually that lesson from Maker Campus, we are trying also to move it into the way we teach at the university level, because that's of course the same thing that we are seeing so far. I think what was the interesting thing about Maker Campus is that we found a way to make it not so difficult to do. That it's basically that doesn't need a lot of resources as well to make it, and that it makes sense to us. We learn in a different way. We don't have the same. We are not equal. We can learn a lot about working in groups, in projects. This is more on how life is actually all about. And the other thing that is maybe very, very pragmatic is that if we ask around, for example, companies and governments, what type of professionals they are looking for, they're actually looking for people that knows how to do some things or how to adapt to different contexts that maybe are uncertain. And right now, can we assure that our universities and our schools are teaching for that? That's also one of the questions that we were wondering. So that's how the philosophy is different and the format is different. And of course, we have lots of challenges, and that's why we are always in a prototyping mode. But I think at the end is what it's guiding us. It's something about making sense also about education. Um, what type of problems do we expect to solve? Well, look, Marisol, which that's basically what every context it's all about. Just to give you a quick idea, um, Chile, just like some other countries in Latin America, it has lots of resources, for example, but the use of those resources in situ are not there. For example, Chile is a mining country, but we are lacking water, for example. So water is used for mining. Mining is producing products that are used everywhere in the world, and maybe right now Chile is living out of mining. But who is taking care about the water problems? Who is taking care about the environmental and social problems? How are we making better technologies also for the mining industry? Are we waiting only for consuming technologies that are coming from other places? How we make more productive and more sustainable the industrialization that we have? So of course, I'm giving the example of Chile, and I can make the same type of examples of some of our other countries in Latin America, and I'm pretty sure you have your own. So those are the types of challenges that my question is, are we really educating our youngsters to be part of the solution of this and not just of a consumer of solutions? So that's what a bit of our push for these kids, that they can be empowered by maybe at the beginning just blinking some LED lights with Arduino, or creating a 3D model of something. Maybe at the beginning it's going to be a play, a game, but little by little they start to recognize that maybe these ideas can be applied to different types of problems and challenges they can see in their daily lives. And that's our approach, that we can also try to relate the reality to them being part of the solution. Yeah, Vicente, something that you want to add?
No, I want to. No, let's the next question.
Yeah, look, I suppose there will be some people that are part of the maker movement and that have maker spaces, like Matthew that is writing out on the chat. We are very keen to keep in contact. So one way to do it is that definitely in the website that you found this, we have an email. So Vicente that is here, and Paola are actually quite in charge of Maker Campus. They have made an amazing job of trying to do linkage. Vicente has been also discussing with people overseas to see how we can also support and make collaborations. This is part of the collaborations we have also with other groups that are making educational programs in the US. Also some companies that want to provide these to other schools, schools themselves. So basically, the way to continue being in touch is basically through writing us. I think Vicente and Paola will be always interested on being in touch. And of course, we are interested to see what's actually, how can we also show some of the strategies that we have, maybe some content if it's of use, and see how it works also in your own context, because what we are trying to do is trying to find the best ways things are working. And here we are exposing and showing one of the things that has worked so far for us and that we strongly believe. And it's true that when you say that the passion of the subject, yeah, and I think Vicente and myself for the last 4 years since this started to spread in the head, it's been like driven by passion of making something that really matters. Some of the questions here is that it is supposed also to solve social problems. Of course, I mean the main problems that we are facing are social right now, as well as environmental, as I was explaining. But yeah,
and I can complement this part because Camilo talked about the macro problem of the country, but we believe we deeply believe that we can do social mobility with that type of tools. And now the society are having different types of gaps of technology in different deeply with generation, with social power too, and we believe that we the delivery tools to create, we can make social mobility in the kids in their future, and we are teaching to educate leader of the future, and that is our focus to change reality of the kids, and that I feel that with that we can change a lot of social problem of different type of things. And in a parallel line, we work with different community and with low cost technology to resolve with the community social problem that's community. And the last, Matthew, we will happy to talk after the webinar. I feel that our mail are in the Maker Faire. Maker Faire in the information of the webinar. There is our mail if you want to write. Well, we don't have no more question. Well, in change organization, we believe that too. But the last question, but we believe that the academy that now exists to organization is not so practical because they are focused to learn all worker that we don't be the personalization in that type of academy, and that we want to change with this type of methodology. Camille, if you want to close it.
Well, we really enjoy being here. I think for us, we haven't done much of showing Maker Campus. Actually, it's strange, but this is the first time that we do something like this. Despite having already quite four generations of students passing through this, so for us it's important now also to share it, see what's currently happening elsewhere. And basically I hope that the main idea about why we are doing this, it was kept for the audience, and we appreciate a lot the time and Maker Faire for organizing this virtual fair. And yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, yes, thank you very much, and thank you for your time. Bye.
Yeah, this will be recorded, so to have a look or to share it. Okay, thank you.